Did you know there are mountains on Earth so forbidden that trying to climb them could land you in prison, spark international outrage, or even trigger military intervention? Welcome to a list of forbidden mountains you are not allowed to climb. Every mountain on this list is off limits for a different reason. Some were climbed in the past until a single tragedy shut them down forever. Others have never been climbed at all. One mountain is forbidden only to one gender. Another would be seen by hundreds of millions of people as a direct act of religious desecration if anyone tried to reach its summit. Number 7 is the highest peak on Earth that no human has ever stood on. And the final mountain on this list, located in the United States, sits inside a heavily guarded federal security zone tied to nuclear infrastructure, making it one of the worst places you could ever wander into. But let's start with number 1. Shiprock rises from the high desert of northwestern New Mexico inside the Navajo Nation. The formation reaches roughly 2,188 meters, or 7,177 feet, above sea level and towers nearly 1,600 feet above the surrounding desert plain. What makes Shiprock striking isn't just its height, but its isolation. There are no nearby ridges or peaks. It erupts straight out of flat terrain and can be seen from more than 40 kilometers, or about 25 miles away. Despite that, in 1939, a group of American climbers completed the first ascent. It was one of the most technically advanced climbs of its time, requiring expansion bolts drilled into unstable volcanic rock. Over the next few decades, Shiprock gained a reputation among elite climbers as one of the most dangerous technical routes in the American Southwest. Loose stone, long runouts, and complex descents made every climb risky. From the deserts of the American Southwest, we move to the Himalayas. Mount Kailash rises in western Tibet near the borders of India and Nepal. The mountain stands 6,638 meters, or 21,778 feet, above sea level. It is not the tallest peak in the region, yet it is completely forbidden to climb. Mount Kailash is sacred in 4 major religions: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and the Bon tradition. In Hindu belief, it is the home of Shiva. In Buddhism, it represents Mount Meru, the spiritual center of the universe. For Jains, it is the place of liberation for their first teacher. Climbing Mount Kailash is not viewed as exploration. It is viewed as religious desecration. That belief is enforced by law. The Chinese government strictly bans climbing, issuing no permits and allowing no expeditions to approach the summit. Even Reinhold Messner, one of the greatest climbers in history, refused to climb it, stating that doing so would violate something far more important than mountaineering ethics. From Tibet, we move west to southern Europe. Mount Athos rises from a narrow peninsula in northern Greece, projecting into the Aegean Sea. The mountain reaches roughly 2,033 meters, or 6,670 feet, above sea level. Unlike other mountains on this list, Athos is not remote or difficult to reach. Roads, villages, and ports exist nearby. What makes it forbidden is access. Mount Athos is the center of an autonomous monastic state that has existed for over 1,000 years. Governed by Eastern Orthodox monks, the region operates under a legal framework recognized by the Greek constitution. One rule defines everything here: women are not allowed to enter. This restriction, known as the Avaton, has been enforced since 1046. It applies to the entire peninsula, including the mountain itself. Access is strictly controlled. All visitors require permits, which are issued only to men and only in limited numbers. Greek authorities patrol the coastline, and unauthorized entry can result in arrest. This rule is actively enforced, not symbolic. The mountain remains forbidden because unrestricted access has never existed here. From Europe, we return to Nepal. Machapuchare, overlooking the Annapurna region, rises to 6,993 meters, or 22,943 feet, above sea level. Its twin summits form a sharp fishtail shape visible from one of the most popular trekking areas in the world. Despite its prominence, Machapuchare is completely forbidden to climb. The mountain is considered sacred and traditionally believed to be the home of Shiva. In 1957, a British expedition received special permission to attempt the mountain under one condition. They were not allowed to stand on the summit. The team climbed high but stopped short of the top, honoring that agreement. Afterward, Nepal permanently closed Machapuchari to climbing. No permits have been issued since. From Nepal, we move to Central Australia. Uluru rises 863 meters, or 2,831 feet, above sea level and stretches over 3.5 kilometers, or about 2 miles, in length. For the Anangu people, Uluru is sacred, tied directly to their law known as Chukurpa. Certain paths and areas were never meant to be climbed. Despite this, Uluru was climbed for decades. A chain was installed, and tourism surged. At least 35 people died attempting the climb due to heat, falls, and medical emergencies. In 2019, the climb was permanently closed. The chain was removed, and climbing Uluru became illegal under Australian law. Today, walking on the rock itself is prohibited. From Australia, we move to southwestern China. Kawagarbo rises to 6,740 meters, or 22,113 feet, in the Meili Snow Mountains near the Tibetan border. Sacred to local Tibetan communities, it was briefly opened to expeditions in the late 20th century. In 1991, a Sino-Japanese team attempted a winter ascent. A massive avalanche killed all 17 climbers. Their bodies were never recovered. The mountain was permanently closed to all climbing shortly afterward. From China, we move to Bhutan. Gangkhar Puensum stands 7,570 meters, or 24,836 feet, making it the highest mountain on Earth that has never been climbed. In 1994, Bhutan banned climbing above 6,000 meters, and in 2003 banned all mountaineering entirely. The mountain remains untouched by design. Finally, we end in the United States. Yucca Mountain lies in the Nevada desert about 160 kilometers, or 100 miles, northwest of Las Vegas. Rising to roughly 2,440 meters, or 8,000 feet, it appears unremarkable, but it sits inside a restricted federal zone tied to nuclear infrastructure. Selected in 1987 as a nuclear waste repository, billions were spent tunneling inside the mountain. The project was later halted, but security never disappeared. Armed patrols still guard the area, and unauthorized entry is a federal crime. So, which of these mountains would you actually dare to climb? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.